More of the John and Ken Show. John Cobell and Ken Shampoo. KFI AM 640.
Welcome. More and more and more of the John and Ken Show.
It never stops.
Yeah. Well, you'll love this headline. Big state tax decisions lie ahead for California voters. We're not talking 2015. We're talking 2016. Yeah, believe it or not, we're almost 2 years away, and they're at work, busy, trying to figure out how they can get you to vote yes for even more taxes.
Well,
one of them is to renew Prop 30.
Presidential elections draw out more voters, which means you draw out more people who are ignorant and stupid.
And that's when Prop 30 passed.
That's right.
2012.
And you can pass a big tax among the ignorant and stupid just by saying, well, it's for the children, you know. And people will believe it. It's like, oh, my God, it's for the children. It's for the children. Well, we got to pass it. Get you every time. They fool you every time. And it's going to be entertaining to see if this works again in 2016.
In fact, I was reading an opinion piece by John Kupal from the Howard Jarvis Taxpayers Association, and he was talking about, you know, UC wants to raise tuitions like 5% a year for 5 years or something like that. Well, when Jerry Brown was pushing Prop 30 on us back in 2012, which of course raised the top income tax brackets and was a sales tax increase, he was saying, oh, this will be another reason why we won't have to raise UC tuition because we'll be able to put this money towards education. It's always great when you're trying to get people to vote for a tax increase, to talk about schools, both elementary schools, high schools, and colleges, as what's going to benefit from this. You'll see. And yet here we are 2 years later, and no, UC is asking for a 5% of your tuition increase.
He didn't give them the money. He lied to everybody in the educational industry. He lied to them. I was with a group of people like this, all Democrats. They were proud about that. All like Jerry Brown voters.
Yeah.
All in education.
You got to find a new group.
And they all, I just float among many groups. I try to learn what goes on out there. And here's what goes on out there. They vote for Jerry Brown. They vote for the tax. They're heavily involved in education. They're proud Democrats. And they admit that Jerry Brown lied to them and screwed them over. They readily admit that now the money they thought was coming for the university system is never coming. Jerry Brown packed up that money and sent it to the pension funds. So here's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to try again now in 2016 with another tax and convince everyone that really, 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 really this time it's going to go for the children.
Well, what they're asking is for us to vote to extend the taxes of 2012.
Yeah, but
they were supposed to expire. They were supposed to be temporary.
Right. They never got their money.
They're going to come back to the voters and ask you to do another Prop 30.
They want Part 2. They want the same tax all over again for more years, except that money's going to go to the pensions too, because the pensions need to be fed constantly, forever. So if you get an extension of the tax, got to go to the pensions. You get a new tax passed, that's got to go to the pensions. Everything ends up funneling into the pensions. Everything. So if whatever they try to sell you on in 2016, they're lying. There's no other way to do it. The pensions demand so much money, there's no other way to do it. You have to steal from everything else and keep feeding it to the pension monster.
Oh, and by the way, you want more proof of how dire that is? In a few years, CalPERS retirees are expected to outnumber active workers.
Oh, jeez.
That's actually a trend that's going on in a lot of other states in the country. Yep.
So we're going to be a state of government workers laying on their backs, waiting for the check to come in the mail.
If you can retire young enough, in your 50s, and some do, you can live another 40 years. Because, the expectation with retirees is that they die.
But retirees don't die anymore.
We had so many baby boomers who were born in the 40s and 50s, they're starting to reach retirement age.
Oh, and they're by their nature, they are a greedy bunch. They are a greedy, entitled bunch. And the government workers are the worst of them. Well, I put in the time, and it's what I deserve. You don't deserve anything. You're bankrupting the state. Go get a job. Go do something. You're sitting there, you're 58 years old. Go get a job. Sitting there on your ass collecting my money.
There's another
Couldn't
group
possibly be more resentful
out there hoping that you'll get to vote on tinkering with Prop 13, and this deals with commercial property taxes. Remember those rules about when a property changes hands? Some companies have figured out a way so that it doesn't actually change hands, so they can, or at least change names, so they can officially save on the reassessment, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, every time Disneyland gets sold, because Disney was its own company at one point.
Yeah,
and everything has been sold and merged and reorganized, and they did it in a way that no tax increase on the property. So, I don't know. Business is not taxed enough in this state. Not a tough enough business climate. Not regulated enough. Unemployment not high enough. Burger jobs still enough for everybody to get by on.
It's always about finding more money, not about saving money.
It's not about doing anything useful with the money. It's about redistributing money from those who work to those who used to work in government and didn't do much when they were there. Boy, if there's one gilded little cocoon that you want to keep happy and well-fed, it's retired government workers, state government workers, no less. Wow, they contribute a lot to our society, did they now?
Another group led by good old Tom Steyer, the billionaire hedge fund manager from San Francisco, wants once again to have an oil tax on the ballot, the crude oil extraction tax.
That guy's a nut. That guy Steyer spends enormous amounts of money now every political season on all kinds of harebrained environmental
this is
propositions.
His passion,
yeah, and all kinds of weird political organizations and candidates. And from what I've read, he's wasted most of his money. Most of his stuff has gone nowhere.
Let's hope his hedge fund goes broke.
Yeah, it's like this guy has nothing to do but blow his money on losing political campaigns and losing propositions. But he's some kind of enviro fanatic.
So if that's not enough, I've already gone through 3 possible tax measures on the ballot. There's one more, and of course, it's an oldie but goodie. Raise the tax on cigarettes.
No.
They're looking for a $2 a pack increase in cigarette taxes.
No, they have a 50-cent tax from, what is it now? It would be 16 years ago.
Oh, the Rob Reiner
50-cent tax.
Preschool thing.
Yeah, to go for some kind of cockamamie. They never were able to spend the money.
Early childhood development.
Early childhood development. That was the buzz phrase. That was the trendy, this is going to cure all our problems with children routine. And they actually, they have
money sitting around.
Huge surpluses. They don't know what to do.
Yeah, they were going to tap it during the deficit, remember?
That is a tax that never should have happened. I don't care if it's on cigarettes. The money's sitting in a pile somewhere, and occasionally they waste it on nonsense. You get stories about how they just make up silly programs to amuse the kids and spend the money, but it has no real benefit.
Plus, this reminds me of the gas tax because they're groaning and moaning that, now the cars are more efficient and people are spending less money or not getting as much gas taxes. The same thing's true with the smokers. Apparently, only 17.8% of U.S. adults in the United States smoked cigarettes in 2013. That's the lowest rate since the CDC began tracking smoking rates in 1965. So smoking really is slowly...
One of the rationales was, we want to do this for health reasons because higher taxes cause people to give up smoking. That wasn't the reason you passed the tax. You passed the tax because you wanted the money, and it was trendy to demonize smokers. And now that's passed because so many people have given up, and now you've got less money. Well, of course would you like more people to smoke?
Yeah.
Why don't you do that? That would amuse me. I'd vote for it if they actually said, you know what?
Yeah, that's the contradiction. Let's tax something we don't want people to do, and then when they don't do it, it's like, what happened?
We blew the smoking tax money. We would like more people to smoke. All right, so we could shovel more money into useless nonsense. All right, be honest about it. You never cared about the smoker's health. Most people don't care about other people's health. They don't care about other people's addictions and diseases, and you're smoking too much, you're eating too much, you're drinking too much. I don't care what other people do. Outside of my immediate friends and family, I have no interest if you drink yourself into oblivion, if you fatten yourself till you explode, if you smoke until your lungs come out bloody. I don't care. Go do it.
Or you beat your wife.
And you know what? If you want to live with a guy who beats you, what am I going to do? Go and rescue you? You got to make your own decisions here. It's your life, your health. Nothing I can do. I'm not going to pretend that I care about everybody's health problems, and I don't think all these other people care either, because that goes against human nature. Human nature says you can't care about everybody unless you're a nut.
Well, I was just curious, some of the statistics they found. 23% of people with disabilities reported smoking, compared to 17%. I guess because you're
bored.
Comfort, yeah. You're bored, yeah.
You're bored. If you're really disabled and you can't work.
Well, and you're screwed up anyway, right? I mean, it's like you already have that mindset of like, I can't do this, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either that or the smoking gives you some of the disabilities.
Oh, and as you might have expected, 41.4% of U.S. residents aged 25 or older who just had like a GED certificate smoked. Only 5.6% of adults 25 or older who had a graduate degree smoked. Well, there's a big difference there.
Yeah, and I don't think it's just like they're too stupid. I think part of it's the hopelessness.
Yeah.
And they just,
it's a comfort. Right?
They don't. Yeah, and they don't really care.
It's a release. It's
their life is crap, so they're going to enjoy some cigarettes.
Right, if they don't live right.
If it kills them early, all the better.
One of my friends who still smokes, she says, "Well, what's it going to do? It's going to take off the John argument. It's going to take off the last 15 years of my life." She's like, "Take it."
Yeah.
And I'm going to enjoy my cigarettes.
Oh, she gave up 15, huh? I thought she was going to say 2 or 3 years. It depends on the person, though.
Yeah, I wonder what the average is.
Yeah,
It probably cuts it down more than 2 or 3 years.
It's kind of playing a lottery game there. It could take 20 or 30 years off, depending on your genetics and how it affects you.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
Yeah, she doesn't care.
I don't know.
She's still young, though. She's saying that now.
Yeah. Before like lung cancer hits, then you care.
She's probably right on about half those years. About half those years are worthless.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, Obama's mini amnesty. His little giveaway by executive order could cost us here in California as the politicians in Sacramento want to give health care to everyone.
John and Ken Show, KFI, and Shannon has news.